Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derek, and I'm here to demystify creativity for you. Too often, people treat creativity like it's something people are born with, like it's something that some people have and some people will never possess, that it's something only the painters have, only the musicians have, and if you're not born with it, too bad for you. But creativity is a necessity, especially in our day and age. Actually, creativity is now seen as one of the most employable skills in the 21st century. So I'm here to teach you how to be in the creative process, how to take the creative process and take it for yourself and just demystify it for you. Most of what I'll talk about is how to get into the creative process and then how to manifest that for yourself, and then I'll create something for you with those techniques. The first thing that you need to do is you need to get over the fear of creating. Too many people have this fear. I stopped the fear, but the hard way. I was bullied a lot growing up, and from the time I was in preschool to actually the time when someone didn't want me to be in this prom limo. So I had to get over this. I thought that people would stop bullying me if I stopped being creative. I thought that, hey, this is the thing that's making me different from the other people, and this is how I can just become one of the normal people again, just become one of the people who are not in this creative zone, who's not weird, as people say. So I stopped creating, but I realized people judge you no matter what you're doing. You can be doing the most normal stuff. You can be doing really weird stuff. People are going to judge you no matter whatever you're doing. So eventually I realized, hey, I'm just going to create anyway. So you might as well too. Another good technique for getting over your fear is to just center yourself, that realize that this is not for you, that this fear can just move you forward. You can use this fear for your energy. A great way to center your energy is to do a power pose. This is what I learned at a conference that I went to growing up in high school. So what you do is you put your feet shoulder length apart, and you put both your hands up like this. So why don't we all do that? Awesome. So that's the first thing we do. The second thing to do is to get inspiration. That's the key thing into creativity, is finding what moves you. What I'm going to tell you goes against common knowledge that we have. So I'm going to tell you right now that writer's block doesn't exist. Writer's block is you keeping yourself from creating. Writer's block is not a thing. Writer's block is you not being receptive to the muse moving through you. So how do you do that? First, there's two ways. First is you meditate, second is writing. First, meditation can get you into that state. Meditation is really easy. Just close your eyes. And breathe for about 10 minutes a day. Second is writing. So one thing that keeps people from creating, and what kept me from creating a lot of the time, was just thoughts populating my mind, not leaving room for creativity. The good way to keep that from happening is to write down all your thoughts in the morning before your left brain has woken up yet. Your left brain is your analytical mind that has not woken up right when you wake up. So don't check email right when you wake up, because that's some left brain stuff. So first, you check your pen. You get your pen, then you get your paper, then you start writing. Write for about 3 to 5 minutes, just until your brain has just lost those thoughts to where they've just drained away. Think of your brain like a well, and there's only so much room in this well, so you've got to drain it to leave room for better drink, for better water. So first you write during the day those thoughts, and then what I learned from the spiritual teacher that can really change your mindset is writing down the answers to 3 questions per day. She's this woman, Janine Houston. She's the advisor to the Rockefeller organization. She's the advisor to a lot of celebrities you see on TV. And she said that you write down the answers to these 3 questions every day for 2 weeks, and it'll radically change your worldview. These questions are, what do I want from the universe? What does the universe want from me? And third, what can the universe and I co-create together? You do this for 2 weeks, and you see results of your life radically change. I tried this. I was skeptical, of course. Like, I was on Muni writing down ideas, like writing down this stuff on Muni on the way to class, because I was in college at the time. And I thought, well, I'll just try this. I like being open to new things. I'm not gonna say it's gonna work. I'm not gonna say it's gonna work. I'll just try this out. So that was the year where later during the year, I got booked for South by Southwest. I got booked for Noise Pop, and I played a lot more shows. So it's worked for me. Why not let it work for you? Third, in this idea of the creative process, moving forward to getting into that mental state, is create a physical space that inspires you. Creating that physical space can instantly inspire you when you're feeling tired. Just entering into that space instantly change your mindset. And mindset is key in order to be able to create. So create this physical space that is filled with things that inspire you, that make you want to move, create for the world. So I invite us all now to close our eyes. Breathe in. And then out. And then in. And then out. Imagine entering your perfect studio. I don't know if your thing is painting, if you're creating the next best app that'll change the world, if you're trying to create a song, if you're trying to create poetry. Whatever your discipline is, whatever way you choose to express your muse, think of the perfect room that you want to create. The perfect room that you'd want things to be filled with. Maybe you have a bed there. Maybe you have a desk that's made out of a wood that you just really like the smell of. Maybe there's a candle in there where you just really like the smell of juniper, or you really like the smell of frankincense. Whatever it is, fill this place with things you love. Fill this place with things you love. Maybe you have art on the wall from your favorite artist. Maybe you really like Banksy, and you just have this awesome Banksy painting on the side. I don't know, whatever it is. So let's imagine this room for just a little bit. What's filling this room? What's on the walls? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? When you touch the surfaces, what does it feel like? Okay, so what I did, okay, let's open our eyes. So during high school, I was really sick for a few weeks. I just could not get over this cold. Still to this day, I have no idea what it was. I filled my room with, well, I had nothing better to do. I was really sick and I couldn't do anything else besides sleep and make this room. So I filled the walls with fabric. I put a bunch of stars on the walls, like star fabric. I had a birthday party where I had it disco themed, like 70s themed. So I put all the stars on the walls from that party and just pinned them to the walls, because thank God my parents own that house, because landlords would not be happy with what I did to this room. I put a whole bunch of paintings from different countries on the wall and on the ceilings. I was part of a choir. Growing up, it was one of my creative disciplines, so we would tour all these places around the world, and I would bring back art and bring back paintings and bring back sculptures from there. So I filled my room all with this stuff. I just wanted the perfect place to create. and to manifest ideas, to make music happen, where if I invited my friends over, that's what we would have. We would just be instantly inspired. And I took the same idea to college. I brought actually most of the stuff to college, and then where I'm living now, my room all around is just filled with things. I have a painting of DJ Kool Herc instead of a window, so I put it all on the window. It's this huge print that I have just to always have DJ Kool Herc watching over me, you know what I mean? So I invite you to do that as well. So once you have this room, it's important to start creating good habits, to stay at task with your creations, whatever it is you do. I'm speaking only from music because that's my discipline, but I've asked other people about this, and we've all found that, at least I believe this works universally. A lot of these things work universally. Try it out. Let me know how it works for you. So, a lot of things with keeping good habits, a lot of things fall under the umbrella of focus. Just focus in all caps. Focus globally. The first thing that I try to do is limit my distractions. I'm very ADD, so this is difficult. So the first thing I do is instead of taking Adderall, I take PS100, which is this like homeopathic solution they sell at Whole Foods. Really good stuff if you also need help with focusing. Second thing is limit your stimuli. Limit what's stimulating you besides a task at hand. So what I do is I block out all these websites because most of the work that I do is on the computer. So I'm on the computer a lot. So I use this app called Self-Control, which blocks out a whole bunch of URLs. If you're not familiar with what URLs are, they're website pages, http://www.whatever. That's a URL. So I block those sites out. And then I also, while I'm at task, I try to limit my production sessions from the sessions when I'm actually writing. So I try to prepare all the technical stuff beforehand at a separate session, and then I move on to actually composing. So that's me designing all the sounds, that's me designing a bunch of impact sounds, a bunch of instruments. Hey, what am I gonna use for this? Hey, what scale am I gonna use for this? Hey, what other hierarchy is needed for painting? I guess it would be, what colors do you need? How are you going to mix colors together? But for me, it's, what instruments am I going to use? Because I can spend all day just looking through a library for sounds. Like, what's that perfect? What's that perfect? What's that perfect? What is that sound that I need? And then if you spend any more than 5 minutes working on that specific thing, move on to the next thing. Because that'll just let you into some tunnel vision, and you'll go down that tunnel, and then you won't be able to go back to the road. So that's radically important. Third thing is limit your toolkit. Especially in music that I do, it's really easy to get lost in having too many instruments at your disposal, because there's a lot of instruments, and they're very easy to find or buy. I found that I need to limit whatever toolkit I have to like 4 things. Usually those 4 things are, what am I going to use for the rhythm, melody, harmony, and then bass kind of fits in all those categories. So I like to treat it like its own thing. I like to treat those things as, what is the core concept of my ideas? What's at the core? What will make my song move? What will tell the story over time? And then only start with those things, and then maybe expand, but not all these things over here, all these sounds over here. Hey, what's the sound that I can find? But find my favorite things for every usage, and then expand. So that's very important, which moves me on to my next idea, where I'm gonna actually create for you. So it's the idea of workflow. Having a good workflow and steps at hand is critical for getting your ideas out. Otherwise, you'll just get lost in one of the steps, and you can just never move on. But having a workflow and a structure to just move through the steps is radically important to creating a product that you can show to people at the very end. So let me show you. The first step in a workflow that I found is sketching out an idea. That's really just prototyping it out. It's a Pollock method. It's throwing paint at a wall. Prototyping is an idea that I got from startups, where they just sketch out a whole bunch of ideas until one sticks. IDEO is a good example of this, where they just post-it note a whole bunch of ideas out until something possibly works. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start out a song from the kick drum. I found that it's good to start with a rhythm because a rhythm is the structure, and if you start with something that's not structured, it's like trying to build a building without any foundation. Otherwise, the song gets really wishy-washy and very chordy and just doesn't have a groove to it, and I like a groove. So I'm gonna start off with a kick drum. I already set a few effects on this, so that's me preparing for it. So I have a little bit of a groove there. Next step is pivoting. So maybe I want to take something out, take something in again. So maybe I just don't want to start with the kick in. So arrangement is the next step. It is bringing things in, bringing things out again. So I have a little bit of an arrangement here. Maybe that, or maybe not, which is the next step, review. You review, hey, what do I actually like here? What do I not like at all? But don't think of those things until you're at that step. Don't try to self-criticize while you're creating, because that goes against the whole idea of creation. You can't create while not creating. That you kind of just neutralize yourself out. Let's start with just... So I don't really like that thing with all the chorus at all, so I'm just gonna... So the idea here is create, then change it, then review it, then see what you like, and then polish it just a little bit, but only polish it until the very end. So there's that little have a little bit of a groove. It's not much, but it's just the start of a song. And I invite you to do that the same. Just flush ideas out. The whole idea is quantity over quality. The idea not here is to get something very great. It's to just let your ideas happen. So what did we go over? So first we went over ideas for how to create. Then we went over just letting ideas happen. There's no such thing as writer's block. Remember that. Writer's block does not exist. Maybe sometimes you are too tired, but you not letting yourself create is not an excuse to not create. You just do it. You let yourself be receptive to ideas coming from there, both places, and you just let ideas pour forward. Then you need to create a physical area. So I have this structure. I know what it is. I have my main controller here, main thing to control software here. Then I have a drum pad, then I have keys. What do I want to use at the moment? I know where it is. I know what to do with it. Know your space. Let your space inspire you. Then create good habits for yourself. Let yourself stay focused in your process. Stay focused in letting your process just move forward. Taking your process and organizing it differently depending on what you're trying to do. So organize it first and then let the ideas happen. But don't try to do it all at the same time. Wearing all the hats at the same time does not work. Then you create a workflow that works for you. You create a workflow that lets you create the most efficiently and makes you feel the best. So I invite you all, go home today, create something in whatever your discipline is. Thank you.